I love butterflies for so many reasons. The main reason, that the first attraction to butterflies for me was the metamorphosis and what that meant. Like how could this creature transform into something so magical and beautiful and completely different? My first attraction to butterflies. But as I began working with butterflies more, I was drawn to the thousands of species there are. I think I thought there were only 10, 20 species, but there are thousands all over the world. Beautiful, beautiful colors, beautiful designs, exotic species, rare species. So there's so many reasons, but I think now I'm drawn to the uniqueness and the color, the vibrancy of them all. They're just beautiful. They're just stunning. I have been painting for about 25 years. So I've started painting oils and acrylics when I was in college. It was strictly a hobby, but I loved it. So just one day I painted a picture of a butterfly, an oil painting of a blue butterfly, and it opened my eyes to a new world. I became even more fascinated with butterflies than I was already, and I decided I want to work with real butterflies. I don't just want to paint butterflies. I want to work with real butterflies. I want to incorporate real butterflies into my art. So I started doing that. I started off, we'll get back to this later, but I started off with cloches. And I have a good story about cloches, but I started off with cloches, which are preserved butterflies enclosed in a glass dome. Very Victorian, very elegant, very traditional. Then I moved to wall pieces, wall decor pieces, incorporating butterflies in wall art, shadow boxes, stuff like that. And then over a glass of wine, my husband and I were talking. He was like, look at that piece that you did. There's 12 butterflies in that wall art piece. Why don't you make a clock? And so I just took off with the idea, and my clocks were born. And the rest is history. My butterflies are all sustainably sourced. First, I must say that. So they've all died of natural causes. No harm has ever come to my butterflies. So I receive my butterflies in their dried state. So their wings are closed. This is how they come to me. I go through the process of hydrating them. So I put them in a hydration chamber to get them flexible enough for me to work with. So after about 24 hours, they're ready for me to spread. So I use my insect spreading boards and my insect pins and special forceps for working with butterflies and insects. And I spread the wings, and then I let them sit for a few days and that preserves them. That gets them ready for me to work with my clocks. So after about 4 days, they're ready for me to incorporate into clocks or art. And the key is, once they're in my clock or my work of art, is to keep them enclosed. So if they're enclosed and away from any of the elements, they're preserved for life. They will last a lifetime in that preserved state. Well, what I love to do is to bring butterflies from all over the world. I love to wow people with my butterflies. I love it when people say, I've never seen that butterfly. No, because it's from Brazil. Oh my gosh, that butterfly, is that a real butterfly? Yes, it's from China, or it's from Africa, or it's from Australia. I love the rare and exotic, and I try to bring those into all my art pieces. And this is the first time that I've actually incorporated one of my original paintings with real preserved butterflies, and I call it Bel Sogno. That's Italian for beautiful dream. And for me, it takes me to a place that I love. Just beautiful, exotic, dreamlike state. And I have to share this with you. A friend of mine came over and she brought her daughter, she's 8 years old, and I showed them this piece for the first time. They were one of the first to see it. And I said, this is called Bel Sogno. It means beautiful dream in Italian. And the little girl said, I wish I had dreams like that. And it just made me cry. And that's my favorite piece by far. From my perspective, I love uniqueness. I love originality. I love handcrafted. I love it for what it is, for what it stands for what the artisan has put into it. So if you see around my house, I have a lot of handcrafted pieces. So I try to bring that enjoyment to people. It's part of me in these pieces. I believe that a part of me is in each of my pieces. And I love that. And I love that I can bring that to someone. It's unique, it's handcrafted, it's original, and it's one of a kind. The way I see it is that I am bringing these butterflies to life. They are preserved in my art for this generation and for future generations. They're heirloom pieces. You can pass them down because they're preserved forever. And that means a lot to me, and I think it means a lot to my clients also to know that they can pass this down to their children, to their daughter. And to answer your question about painting, a lot of my clients and friends have asked me if I paint the butterflies because they know I paint, and that's what I've been doing for 25 years. I am in love with the butterflies, like I said earlier, because their colors are so beautiful. All of my butterflies are natural in their unadulterated state. I do not paint the butterflies at all. They're 100% natural color, 100% real preserved butterflies. I have another story, I don't know if I shared it. A couple, their son was murdered. The mother had candles in her son's room, and she went in there every night and prayed with the candles. She replaced those candles with one of my butterfly clocks. She prays in his room with one of my butterfly clocks. There are no words sometimes. Like the emotion that I get from that, I can't even describe it, right? And these are the stories, they keep me going and they motivate me. And then there are people who just buy it purely because it's beautiful and artistic. I've brought people to tears with my art, with my clocks, specifically my clocks. I've had a cancer survivor. She bought one of my clocks, a custom commission piece. It brought her to tears because the butterfly meant so much to her in her journey surviving cancer. And the clock was specifically for her cancer colors, and it was designed for her. I called it On Angel's Wings. I used a beautiful white angelic morpho, this big, and I chose that butterfly for her because she shared her journey with me. And I felt that she was carried on angel's wings as a child to get to where she is, to survive that battle. And it brought her to tears. And she communicates with me still, and she tells me how in times of sadness, she goes and looks at that clock. And it just touches me. I love it. I love it. And I've had other stories like that where my art brings people to tears, and I never thought that could be possible. I never even dreamed it. But it happens, and I love it. And I'm very blessed to be where I am, and I'm blessed to be able to bless others with this, with what I do.